We got a lot to cover today. 2 days, our constitutional obligation to balance the budget, to bring the citizens of the tax widgets of Colorado a balanced budget. It was offered to us to cover in 2 days, somewhere around $46 billion, 2 days. We've offered many times to do some zero-based budgeting, to go into the nitty-gritty of this, to get into find the fraud, waste, and abuse that we know is there because it's been found. So when we look at this today, we are going to be looking at our one constitutional obligation, and that is to bring the tax widgets of Colorado a balanced budget. And I say that with all due respect. I'm just telling you how the General Assembly, how the House, how the Gold Dome cesspool feels about the taxpayers of Colorado. So we are facing harsh economic headwinds. Those are all self-inflicted. It's not so much that we're facing harsh economic headwinds as we've tied our economic shoes together and we're trying to run. And no surprise, we're falling on our face and we have billions of dollars of deficit again. And that's not counting the deficit that identifies as not deficit, the trans debt that identifies as not debt, the certificates of participation, the $4 billion out there of government industry collusion, also known as fascism. We are facing self-inflicted, harsh economic realities. We've blown through $4 billion worth of surplus in addition to growing our budget, nearly doubling our budget, mainly at the behest of the chamber below this room, done through the minions in this room. So today what you're going to hear, partially, is you're going to hear a list of priorities of the General Assembly. You're going to hear what the priorities are. Taxes, debt, spending, social programs, cronyism. And you're going to learn from these priorities, I hope. And we're going to try to expose these by what we spend money on, by what funds we cut. And I think it's also telling you should pay attention to what funds cannot be cut. You need to understand what funds cannot be cut if you want to truly understand the priorities of Colorado. So I have like 600 pages here. Got another 258 pages there. Have another 75 pages here. And as our number one constitutional obligation, it was asked that this be covered in 2 days. Somewhere near, going up near $50 billion, 2 days. So, for those tuning in to our one constitutional obligation that we spend in this 120 days, when we're in a deficit and we pass, the only things that we're passing are magically $0 fiscal notes that we'll find out how much they cost later. Because if they don't cost now, it means we are overpaying those agencies before. And then they're just going to bring in the cost later with supplementals or on our next not so special session, our extraordinary session that has become. And it was this body used to meet like every other year, every odd year. Now every year is an odd year. And they get odder and odder and odder as we spend stuff and we spend our citizens, and we're not only spending our citizens into lifelong debt, we're spending our progeny into lifelong debt, the ones that this body allows to live, because it funds agencies that kill over nearly 500,000 preborn persons every year. And we wonder why our economic shoes are tied together. So for the Coloradans that are, for the Coloradans that are paying attention to the one thing that we should be doing in this 120 days and uncovering the fraud, waste, and abuse that is buried in this budget, that is protected in this budget. I'm going to say that again. The fraud, waste, and abuse is protected in this budget. And the only reason that we're having this conversation on a balanced budget is because of the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, whose assassin just walked by.
Rep. DeGraaf.
Yes, sir.
I think you understand how a comment like that is incredibly out of line. And if not, we can certainly talk about it later. House Rule 23D states clearly that when speaking or debating before the House, a member shall confine his or her remarks to the question under discussion or debate, avoiding personalities. I will ask you to do that for the remainder of your time in this well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I thought he would consider it a compliment, but 23D it is. So the only reason we're having this conversation today about a balanced budget is because of the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. Now, it's an election year, so you'll notice that the